Hello, Ben. It's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing quite fine, my man, and thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate you. And you see, Ben, oftentimes I love to thank my guests for two things. And I do this so often to the point where it has become my anthem. So, firstly, my man, I want to say thank you so very much for investing in yourself. You see, Ben, you are on this platform right now because you did invest that in yourself. And oftentimes, my man, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. Let's say some couple of months back, Ben, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this very tall, unattractive mango tree. And I used the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves are all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, my man, just recently I was on that same road, and this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree, you see. The mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance, and immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches. And not just mangoes now, Ben. I'm talking about ripe mangoes. It was such a lovely experience that day, and I was so excited. There is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing Ben that you are today, that alone has made it impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing. Your work, your philosophy, your insight, the impact your work is having, and how you are offering your solutions, the beautiful stuff you're doing with SPTC. This stuff's so wonderful. And just before I sent you that request, I said to myself, I've got to benefit from these beautiful things Ben is doing. And not only me now, because, I don't want to look selfish, and even with the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Ben. So thank you so very much for doing that yourself. And secondly, thank you for saying yes to the invite. Because if you had said nope, there was nothing Elisha could do about it. Thanks so much, my man.
Of course. I'm excited to be here.
Beautiful. So let's get started. You see, I am quite excited to have you on the show today, Ben, for some reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Ben, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge alone, but the application of it. And you see, my man, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness, ignorance. I've been so keen to knowledge seeking. Why? Because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. And the second reason why I'm excited to have the incredible Ben on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, my man, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced, my man, that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, Ben, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or your professional journey, because right now we are so curious. We want to know how Ben got here. Then afterwards, I've gotten some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Ben, my man, over to you.
Yeah, uh, my name is Ben Zingos. I am a theater maker based in Los Angeles. I got my start in theater as an actor, and I went to school for acting for my bachelor's degree. And as I did that, I got more into the other areas of theater making. And by the time I'd been ready to graduate with my bachelor's, I decided to enroll in a program that basically let me stay at the same school and in the same program and just kind of continue that bachelor's into a master's. And so I got a master's in theater in general, with the specific focus on immersive design. My whole thesis was essentially coming up with an immersive design methodology that I use, or our company now uses, to essentially find real world spaces that, through their natural use and habitation by people living and working in them, cry out for a specific play to be staged in them. And so, what this ends up looking like is, the first thing I ever did with this methodology was a play called Red, which is about the painter Mark Rothko. It's all set inside of a really big painting studio, and I did it in my university's scenic paint shop. We put in seating, we brought audiences in, and we really made them feel like they were just sitting like as a fly on the wall in this painting studio watching this action unfold. And we've continued that on, and we have gotten uh you know we did a test run production in Southern California, um of a different play that was set in a wine bar. Did that in a real wine bar. That worked pretty well. And now we're moving on to our first full season. Yeah, we're launching our first season. If anyone listening is based in Los Angeles or in that area, the first play we're doing is Lady Day at Emerson's Bar and Grill.
Mm.
It is a play about Billie Holiday, and it recreates one of her final concerts. And yeah, I am a theater designer, I guess first and foremost now, and theater producer, but I still love acting, and I definitely have dabbled in other areas of theater as well. And yeah, I think that's the gist about me.
Amazing, amazing, my man. You see, the amount of effort you're putting into this beautiful stuffs, it is really inspiring. And thank you so very much for the wonderful stuffs you're doing. But you see, before we get before we go further, I wanted to understand something. So, what is the mission behind SPTC? Can you talk
Yeah.
to us about
Um,
that?
so Absolutely. Yeah. So our mission is to essentially be the first theater company in American history that runs a full season of plays that are simultaneously radically affordable, meaning all
Mm,
of the ticket prices are capped at a price that is below the current hourly minimum wage where we live. And so in California, the hourly minimum wage, it's like 21 an hour. LA,
wow,
it might be 20 an hour. And so our tickets are capped at $10. And
wow,
so
wow.
basically the idea behind that of radical affordability is that a working person, someone living paycheck to paycheck, doesn't need to work more than an hour at most of their job in order to pay for their ticket. This is because people who are, working class people living paycheck to paycheck, they can't afford more than an hour of the work that they do because there's only so many hours in the day. Like they can't afford to be spending 3 or 4 hours of their work on a ticket, 40, 50, $60 ticket to a show. Like that is not feasible for them because they have to pay rent, they have to pay bills, they have
Right,
to pay
right.
food, like they've got all these things they have to deal with. And so will be the first to run a full season of radically affordable theater that is at the same time still paying all artists, um, creative, crew, cast, front of house, literally everybody who works on the production. There's not a single role that we have that is not paid also a living wage in Los Angeles, which is very different than the minimum wage here, because
Mm,
the minimum wage here is not a living wage at all. And so
wow.
we pay well over that. And yeah, if our season is successful, if we're able to run our full season of 4 shows, each of them running for a month, 6 shows a week, like if we can put that together and make it all happen as currently planned, we'll be the first theater in American history to do a full season that is radically affordable for all the shows and still paying everybody a living wage. So that's
Amazing.
exciting.
I tell you,
And
very
we use the
exciting.
immersive design methodology that I was talking about earlier as our main artistic focus. Our first show is going to be in a pop up nightclub for this upcoming season. The second show is going to be in an art gallery. The third one's going to be in a coffee shop, and the fourth one's going to be in a like church basement.
Mm,
So very unique locations, and they all really have a lot to do with the story of the play and making it a more cohesive experience. But at the same time, working in these found unconventional spaces is actually dramatically cheaper than working in normal theater spaces for a few reasons. Chiefly, property values and things in Los Angeles are just really high. And so performance venues have really high premiums for renting their spaces. But non performance venues aren't used to people asking, to use them in that way. And so they don't really have a frame of reference for, charging those premium rates. And
uh,
so you can often negotiate a dramatically lower rate there. And then also, as far as the design goes, like, a big part of the budget of a lot of theatrical productions is making the scenery, making all of these things on stage that are supposed to look as real as possible and that are supposed to add to the world of the play. Like creating a whole new world that feels legitimate, that feels real on stage is very expensive. But when we go into these spaces, they're already 70, 80% of the way there. That's why we choose them. They are, through their nature, perfect for the play we're trying to do. And so all of the money that we save from, cheaper venues, not having as much to spend on design, and, by having these unique, this unique model, like that money that we save is just immediately funneled back into artist wages. Our yearly budget is, for this upcoming season is just over $500,000, which for 4 shows that run an entire month each, 6 shows a week, all paying a living wage, like that's actually really low. Most theaters that pay a similar rate to us have dramatically higher season long budgets. And it's simply because like we have so much money that we save in other places.
mm,
Um, and we funnel it all back into wages. Our budget is literally 77% of our budget for the entire year. Of that,
wow.
$525,000, 77% is wages. Other theater companies, it's nothing even close to that. It's
Mm.
so much more money into other things. And so we really do focus as much as we possibly can on paying our artists, because um, that is kind of our chief mission, alongside the affordability and the immersivity.
Amazing. This is so beautiful. So, how do you support your team beyond just the pay?
Yeah, so right now we're in the process of trying to, get season long funding for the production, and pay is definitely the most important thing, at least in my view, for how to support your artists, how to support the people working with you, because at the end of the day, everyone has to pay their bills. And usually art in Los Angeles is either, you're working on a movie that's paying you a ridiculous amount of money, or you're doing some independent film or some kind of independent theater thing that is paying you like nothing. And there's not a whole lot of in between. Our goal is to kind of be that, because, there's a lot of great actors in Los Angeles who need work in between film and TV shoots. And like doing live theater in LA right now is just so far removed, unless you're again like at one of the really big theaters, but then those theaters aren't affordable. Their tickets are super expensive. Um, but like if you're a working class actor, like you're not going to be able to make ends meet with most of what theaters in Los Angeles are paying. And so our goal is to kind of be uh, the ones that fill that space. And aside from pay, how we support our artists is we're very focused on inclusivity. We're very focused on equity. Beyond just paying people a living wage, we also embody these ideas of, collectivism. We want everyone to feel valuable. We want everyone to feel like they are able to contribute to the work we're doing. And so, when I'm directing, which I'm not directing at all this upcoming season because I'm producing and designing all of them, and that would be way too much.
Oh,
But when I'm directing, my ethos is like anyone can have a good idea. Good ideas come from anywhere, and you should be really open and willing to listen to the people that are working with you. And as a producer, I definitely still embody that, and I have hired people who I think will also, as directors, embody those ideas. Because I really, at the end of the day, the reason I'm so passionate personally about making this project happen is because I just want people to be treated equally. I really just want people to feel valued and to feel like they are equal to everybody who's around them that's working with them. And so, we are focused specifically as well on marginalized perspectives and working with artists who are historically, especially in America, either ignored or mistreated or, outright taken advantage of. And our goal as a theater is to kind of be the opposite of that norm.
hmm,
For
hmm, hmm,
example, on one of the plays later in our season, Pyar Coffee, which is a play that basically explores love and relationships in the South Asian diaspora in California. And, it's a rom com. It's very fun, very good time. It'll be very cheery. It's got great themes. Deals with a Desi woman who is, young lady in college and is trying to date, trying to experience, and she has first generation immigrant parents from Gujarat in India, and they really want her to, basically bring home a nice Indian boy, bring home, someone who is very much of their same culture and religion, and she falls in love with a Black American man, and the play deals with these themes of uh love and connection and crossing over cultures and everything. And it's a beautiful message. But when I was talking to the playwright, Reina Patel, about, her experience trying to tell this story and tell other stories, it's like the frequency with which artists trying to tell a story from their perspective and from their community are paired with either directors who don't know what they're doing, aren't from that culture, or designers who similarly aren't from the culture, don't have respect, don't have an understanding, don't have an appreciation, or are just simply being forced to work with actors or other, artists who are not the appropriate, in this specific example of this playwright, they talk about the experience they have working with theaters and basically just kind of being forced to compromise, being forced to deal with somebody on the team who is not aware or educated or even really caring about the perspective that the playwright has in the first place. And so a lot of times these very progressive and liberal theaters will put on productions of marginalized playwrights' work, and it will not be in the spirit of or true to that work because they don't let that playwright have any real agency or that much power in how that story is told. We're the opposite. When I interviewed her, I was like, yeah, so we have a director that we think would be a great fit for you. One of my mentors from college, Dr. Chaitanya Chakravarti, she is super prolific, incredibly well known, Pulitzer Prize finalist, amazing director, amazing person. Reina, ended up being really excited about working with her, and we're all three of us are just so stoked. It's going to be a great team. But if Reina had not liked Chaitanya, if she had not thought that that was going to be a good director for the play, like the way we operate, I would have absolutely been like, okay, then we'll find another person. I gave a recommendation as the producer of someone I thought would be perfect for it, and it turned out that they were a really great fit. But if that wasn't a good fit, Reina knew from the outset that she was fully empowered to say no and that she can find another director, find somebody who fits better for her. And that's been true of all of the directors and playwrights that we work with, is they are the ones making the artistic executive decisions. it is my job to facilitate. It's my job to be the
Mm,
producer. It's my job to find out how to make that happen. It's my job to find out how to get the money to make that happen. Like it's my job to be the facilitator. It is not my job to tell them what to do, which is what a lot of producers in American theater unfortunately do. So
mm.
that's more or less how I approach like my role and like how we embody that mission, from top to bottom. And yeah, I think that answers the question I was answering originally.
Beautiful, my man, and that's so true. And thank you for what you're doing with your wonderful company. So I'm gonna take that as a final thought, my man. So for folks who would like to reach out to you, learn more about the wonderful stuff you're doing, or even be a part of these lovely stuffs, or help the company one way or another this season, or even ask you questions, how can that be possible?
Yeah. If anyone wants to help out, right now we are really in a mad dash to get funding to get through rehearsals for this first show. Because of the way it's shaking out to be in Los Angeles, like it looks like we're actually going to be able to make a decent amount of money from the show through alcohol and other types of concessions because we're a nonprofit and we're able to get certain like special permits and stuff to be able to do that. But the problem is getting through rehearsals right now. Like we're trying as hard as we can to get major funding from grants. We've written now, I think about $1.5 million in grant applications, and a lot of them, unfortunately, have just been left unread or at least unresponded to. And we've also gotten a decent amount of no's. Originally, we were hoping to have a lot of funding from the federal government prior to the Trump administration taking over, but unfortunately, they're very reactionary, and conservative politics have basically blacklisted all nonprofits from federal funding that are focused on either diversity, equity, and inclusion, or radical affordability, which is what both of the things we do is. And so we're ineligible for federal funding. And we're trying very hard to get sponsorships from local businesses and to make all of this happen. And yeah, we also are running crowdfunding campaigns, and truly $5, $10, whatever. If you're listening, if the work that we're doing inspires you, if you want to help make it happen, every dollar counts. Everything matters. It really, if you could go to our website, make a donation, it would mean the world. But even if not, if the work we're doing inspires you, if it interests you, talk about it, post on social media, say, hey, this looks cool. If you're based in Los Angeles, at the very least, we would be so honored to have you come to a show. Because, beyond just trying to make theater that treats the artists well, at the very front of it all is the radical affordability. We care about our community. We want people in Los Angeles who are working people who are usually excluded from, high quality professional entertainment. Those are the people that we most want to come see our shows because they're $10. And, bring the family, bring your friends, like come see a show, have a drink, have fun, and know that you're getting a high quality professional, union product. Our actors are union, like they're being paid well. Like you're getting what you would normally pay 60, 70, $80 for at, other big theaters in LA. We're doing something that is of that same quality, and it's radically affordable at the same time. So we'd just love to have you there.
Beautiful. So can you say your website once more?
Oh yeah, sorry. Our website is Space Pirates Theater. Theater spelled THEATRE, not ER. So Space Pirates Theater Collective.org. And either way, we just really want to have people come see the shows. We want to have people share in this, and if we are something that you feel like investing in, we are really honored to have the support of some incredible individuals and organizations to make this all possible.
Beautiful, and that's a great one. I believe everything will work out and all of the help needed will be met. I believe so. So that's gonna be the end of the show, Ben. Thank you for coming and thank you for
Thank you
sharing
so
this
much, Elisha.
wonderful stuff with us. It means a whole lot. Thanks, my man.
It means a lot to have you, care and to really put the effort in and to ask some great questions. It's really wonderful, Elisha, to talk with you. Thank you.